Good morning everyone, I'm Enriching Logistics and I'm Avigna. Today I'll be showing you a delegate's journey in an MUN. So all the delegates are expected to be here by 8 o'clock, and as soon as they arrive, they'll be heading over to their respective registration desks. After they go to their respective committee registration desks, they'll be handing over the liability form and their tech release forms. After they hand it over, they'll be receiving the delegate kits. This is the delegate kit they'll be receiving. So I'll be showing you the contents of a delegate kit. You'll be getting a black card, then you'll be getting a notebook, you'll be getting an ID card which you have to be wearing throughout your committees, you'll be getting a notepad to pass around the chits, and you'll be getting a pen and a certificate of participation. So after this, you'll be going to the frisking rooms. So in the frisking rooms, you'll be checked for carrying any unauthorized materials. The list of unauthorized materials will be shared by July 11th to your respective mail IDs. After this, all the delegates will be heading over to the respective committee green rooms by 8:35. And after 8:35, they'll be going to their committee rooms where the opening ceremony will start. After the opening ceremony starts, then after it ends, their committee will prepare and the respective committees will be started. So now we'll be showing you how a committee session happens. This is our team and we'll be showing you how a mock MUN happens.
I'll be now starting off by telling you what an agenda is. An agenda is simple. It's the topic on which the delegates debate and discuss upon in the committee session. Now, for example, in the mock MUN which we will be presenting now for the committee of UNHRC, the agenda is the human rights violations in countries. Now, for the delegates to prepare for this agenda, there's a document called the background guide which has been sent to everyone.
So I'll be explaining about roll call and points. What is a roll call? Roll call is basically the attendance. Okay, so the chair will be taking your attendance and you have two options to choose from, present or present and voting. Now I'll be explaining the points. In the back of your placards, the points are written. So there's mainly 4 points. Point of order, point of inquiry, point of personal privilege and point of information. First, point of order. So when a delegate is giving a speech and you find a factual inaccuracy in their speech, then you raise a point of order to correct that speech. Then point of inquiry. When the chair or the vice chair or your executive board is explaining something and you don't understand what they're explaining, then you raise a point of parliamentary inquiry. Then we have the point of personal privilege. This is used to express your personal things that you need. For example, if you want the air conditioning to be reduced, you use a point of personal privilege and then you ask the question because you don't want to disrupt the committee. Next, point of information. So when a delegate gives a speech and you don't understand something, you want to clarify something, or you have a question on what their speech was, then you can raise a point of information after the delegate's speech is done.
Okay, so I'll be talking about GSL, which stands for General Speakers List. So at the start of the committee, the chair will call the people who want to speak in the General Speakers List. So you speak upon the agenda itself. The General Speakers List usually happens at the start of the committee or when there are no motions on the floor. Next, I'll be talking about chitpad. So in the chitpad, we have a hybrid chitpad this year. That means your chitpads will be given in the notepad itself. So chits are a way of communicating with another delegate without actually disrupting the committee. So you could be asking your friend how lunch is, and that means you don't send it through the EB. There are 2 ways. You can send it through the EB or not through the EB. If you send it through the EB, your chit will be marked. But if you send it not through the EB, the EB will not even read it and it will go directly to that delegate.
Now I'll be explaining you what a moderated caucus and an unmoderated caucus are. Now take an example of a book. In a book, it's not just about the science subject or whatever the subject it is. It is about the chapters, the subdivisions in the book. Because of these subdivisions, we clearly understand the grassroots problem and what we actually need to study. Similarly, in a UN committee or any committee in a model UN, we'll be having something known as the moderated caucus, which is a sub-agenda to the main agenda given. Here, the delegates would be speaking upon that sub-agenda and debating upon it. Now coming to an unmoderated caucus. It's a time given to the delegates where they can discuss, form blocks, which is basically groups with similar interests. Here, this is going to help the delegates because they can discuss about the draft resolution, which they will be presenting in the committee with the forward. So these 2 forms are informal forms of debate.
Alright, moving forward, I will be explaining about what the draft resolution is. Your draft resolution is essentially the solutions, a list of all the solutions that have been discussed in the committee. For example, you can see the draft resolution 1.2. This draft resolution states that the sponsor, the person who made the draft resolution, or the country that made the draft resolution for a matter of fact, is the Republic of Sudan. The signatories are the ones that have helped the sponsor, the delegate of Sudan, to make the draft resolution by providing with solutions. Moving forward, you can see the agenda. The agenda is a topic that they have discussed and debated about. The agenda in this case is a human rights situation in countries. Moving forward, you can see the multiple clauses that they've mentioned about the agenda. This gives a clarity about what the effect of the agenda has on the people. Considering that this is a humanitarian committee, people are the ones that come first. Moving forward, you can see the implementation of the solutions. These solutions are the ones that would actually be a part of the change, causing an impact. At the last, it is evident that there is one small full stop to show that the draft resolution has ended. Rest all, you can see that there's either a comma or there's either a semicolon. This is how a draft resolution would be working. In case there is a full stop with regards to the bullet points or at the end of a sentence, that means the draft resolution has come to the end. The full stop is essentially supposed to be placed at the last clause of the draft resolution. This is how a draft resolution would be working.
Moving on to press con. Press con stands for press conference. So it is at the end of the conference, in the end of the committee session, where a reporter or journalist clarifies a few questions to some specific delegates on the happenings in the committee. So this is important because it will clarify the reporter's doubts as well as the content the reporter will be putting into their report would be clear.
Agenda for this Lok Sabha is the deliberation upon the Uniform Civil Code. Delegates wishing to speak in the opening statements, please raise your placards. Alright, noted.
Point of parliamentary inquiry. Ma'am, who's the first speaker on the list?
Shrihi B. Eden would be the first speaker.
That would be me, ma'am. Alright, I'd like to start on a self count. Alright. Members, I stand here not to stay shut, not to stay quiet, but to speak up for my people. Has the Uniform Civil Code become commercial? The so-called Uniform Commercial Code, is it? I think it's a Uniform Civil Code. I think it should be fair and square for everyone. Yes, the Indian National Congress is supported for the Uniform Civil Code, but in our hands, not in their hands. They do not know anything but mere hypocrisy. All they do is rise in Muslims. All they do is rise in our minorities. They take away their rights just because of some so-called minority group in our country, the Hinduism. What happened to the Christianity? What happened to the Muslim? What happened to the Sikhs in our country? They talk about the so-called Uniform Civil Code in Goa, so-called Uniform Civil Code in Uttarakhand. What happened there? Women do not have proper rights. Children do not have proper rights. It is only they're classified as Christian or non-Christian, and still they do not bother to make amendments to it, but they want to put a Uniform Civil Code for the entire country. You want to fit the same uniform of the same size for someone who is larger than that particular size? That does not make any sense. I do not plan to stay shut for my country. I will speak up. I will not stay shut anymore.
Delegates, are there any motions on the floor? Yes, Delegate. Amit Shah.
I, Amit Shah, would like to raise a motion to suspend formal debate and move into a moderated caucus on the topic UCC with regard to human rights. The total time being 20 minutes and individual speaker time being 60 seconds.
Granted. Delegate, would you like to reserve your right to speak?
Yes, ma'am.
When you're ready.
Today I stand before you not just to argue for a law, but for the future of India. An India where justice is blind to religion, caste and creed. The Uniform Civil Code is not merely a reform. It is a necessity, a call for unity in a nation fragmented by outdated and discriminatory personal laws. Why should a person's right depend on where they were born or the religion they follow? Should a woman's right to inheritance differ because of a religion? Should a child's right to fair marriage be determined by the community? Absolutely not. These divisions tear apart the very fabric of our nation. Look at the Shah Banu case of 1925. A woman struggled for justice, not as a Muslim or a Hindu, but as a citizen of India. If we had a uniform civil code then, justice would have prevailed without hesitation or discrimination. This is not just about a law, this is about human dignity. How long will we continue to live with laws that divide us rather than unite us? The UCC does not erase our diversity, it embraces by ensuring every citizen, regardless of faith, has equal right under the law.
Ma'am, you will have your time.
Thank you.
Yes, delegates, any points on the floor? I'd like to raise a point of information.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Yes. Alright. Ma'am, considering the statements that you've just made with regards to a Muslim woman and the mention of the Shah Banu case, could you please justify how you plan on making the Uniform Civil Code and respecting the Muslim minorities, respecting each and every Muslim citizen in India without the Sharia law being imposed in our country? The Sharia law has not been accepted throughout the country. Furthermore, it has not been accepted in multiple countries. How do you plan on justifying the rights of Muslims when you do not even know what their religion is, when you do not even know what their laws are?
I abstain from answering.
Alright, Devi, thank you.
Are there any motions on the floor to adjourn the committee?
Could my name please be added to the moderated caucus discussion now? Members, I stand here to speak up for our women, to speak up for our citizens. They talk about the Goa Uniform Civil Code, but let me tell you, there was a child that was raped who was 4 years old. She was raped in Goa, and they talk about the Uniform Civil Code protecting them. I stand here to reply for those civilians, for those people standing right there, being struggled just because they're classified as a Christian or not. We have forgotten our fundamental rights. When we look into the Champakam Dharayaraja versus the state of Madras case, we observe that fundamental rights are what matters. This particular case happened in 1950, and still we still seem to be repeating the history. This is what the ruling party wants to do to us. It is very similar like the anti-conversion laws. They want to implement it under them. This is a vote bank politics. This is nothing but mere injustice to the people, to my people, not theirs. The moment that they're Hindus, they become their people. The moment that they're us, they become non-citizens of the country. I would like a justification for this very same.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to raise a point of order. Mr. Hibi Indian has stated that Champakam Dharayarajan case has taken place in 1950, whereas it had actually taken place in 1951.
All right, ma'am. Consider. The member Shri Vigadan would like to raise an unmoderated caucus for the time being of 5 minutes. Thank you.
Unmod will end in 2 minutes. Delegates, your unmod ended. Delegates, does anybody have any documentation ready? Yes, ma'am.
We have a unanimous press release which we would like to share with the committee.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Alright. Delegates, we will be beginning with our committee session. So, are there any motions on the floor? Yes. The delegate of Iran would like to set the agenda of this committee to the human rights violation in country. Is there any other motion on the floor? With that being said, delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards. The motion clearly passes. Can the delegates wishing to speak in the general speaker list raise their placards? Delegate of Sudan, followed by the delegate of Iran. Ma'am, the floor is open. Ready whenever you are.
Thank you, Chair, for the recognition. Water, water. Nowhere is a single drop to drink. A single drop enough, even if it is just poison. What does it mean to speak of human rights in a world where each day they are violated with impunity? What does it mean to gather in these halls and debate justice, while so many outside these walls still hear the sound of gunfire and not freedom? The delegate of Sudan stands not to deny, not to deflect, but to speak with the honesty of a nation in pain, a nation in transition, a nation that knows the weight of war and the cost of silence. Yes, Sudan has suffered. Yes, our people have endured. But we ask you, when conflict is imposed upon a country, should the answer be condemnation or compassion? Should the global community point fingers or extend hands? We do not claim perfection. No nation can. But Sudan does claim its right to be heard, not just in isolation, but understood in context. We ask this council, will you stand only as critics or will you walk with us as partners? Sudan is ready to work with this council, with UN mechanisms, with every nation here that believes in dialogue over destruction. So we leave you with this. Will history remember this council as a body that casts stones or as one that built bridges? Thank you.
Delegate, you've elapsed your time. Are there any point of information on this particular speech? Delegate of Iran, yes ma'am.
How does the delegate of Sudan explain the hypocrisy where they play the victim card, do the blame game here at UNHRC, when the Sudanese citizens don't have access to justice, nor do they have proper healthcare, and here we have them complaining instead of utilizing the resources they already have?
The delegate of South Sudan would like to ask and request the chair for the permission to raise a right to reply.
Delegate, just a clarification. Delegate of Sudan or Delegate of South Sudan?
Delegate of Sudan.
Yes ma'am, please go ahead.
The reason why we do not have justice, the reason why we don't have proper healthcare is because of countries like them, ignoring us, pointing at us, while still expecting us to stay shut. The reason why our citizens do not have access to justice is because the ICJ's jurisdiction does not expand over the Darfur region in our country. And half the courts are destroyed, bombed, and left unheard. But yet again, we are ignored and asked to utilize the resources we already have. Here's the breaking truth. The funds raised by the UN only contribute to 44% of the Sudanese economy, which isn't enough and will not stay shut until we are noticed.
Yes ma'am, thank you so much. Delegates, are there any other motions on the floor? Delegate of Iran?
The delegate of Iran would like to raise a motion to suspend formal debate and move into an unmoderated caucus for a total time being of 15 minutes and individual speakers' time being 60 seconds on the topic, the impact of unilateral coercive measures and external interference on the full realization of human rights.
Delegate, can you please re-specify with the time that's mentioned?
The total time being of 15 minutes with individual speakers' time being 60 seconds.
Would you like to rephrase the time?
The delegate of Iran would like to rephrase the time of total time being to 20 minutes and individual speakers' time being 60 seconds.
Are there any other motions on the floor? With that being said, we'll be proceeding with the voting for this particular motion. Delegates in this favor of motion, please raise your placards. Delegates against this motion? This motion clearly passes. You will be entering into a moderated caucus for the next 20 minutes and an individual speaker time being 60 seconds. Delegate of Iran, would you like to reserve your right to speak?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, so you would be the first speaker in the moderated caucus.
Yes.
Alright. Give us a minute. Delegate, ready whenever you are.
Yes, ma'am. I'm ready. For too long, the narrative on human rights has been selectively applied, often overlooking the devastating consequences of external pressures. Unilateral coercive measures, in particular, represent a severe form of collective punishment. These illegal sanctions directly undermine the fundamental human rights of entire populations, denying access to essential medicines, food, and basic economic opportunities. We have seen firsthand how these measures cripple healthcare systems, disrupt education pathways, and lead to widespread suffering, particularly among the vulnerable. Furthermore, external interference, whether through overt or covert measures, destabilizes sovereign nations, fuels internal conflicts, and creates fertile grounds for human rights abuses. We urge all member states to consider the ethical and legal implications of these measures. It is time to uphold genuine multilateralism.
Yes. Alright. Are there any point of information for this particular speech? None being there, we'll be moving forward. Are there any motions on the floor? Delegate of Sudan, yes ma'am.
The delegate of South Sudan would like to raise an unmoderated caucus, the time being 10 minutes.
Sure ma'am. Delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards. Delegates against this motion? This motion clearly passes. Delegates, 2 more minutes left in your unmoderated caucus. Delegates, you've elapsed your unmoderated caucus. The executive board would not be entertaining further clarifications, so please just stay rested. Delegates, just a clarification, what was the unmoderated caucus for? Yes, Sudan.
Chair, it was about the DR discussion, draft resolution.
Alright. Did we receive the DR?
Yes, sir.
Yes, alright. So, delegates, we will be moving into the discussion of the draft resolution. I will be explaining the rules of procedure for discussing this particular draft resolution. You will essentially be doing it via point of informations and point of orders. All amendments with regards to addition, deletion, or modification should be sent via chit. Chits are open. The floor for chits has been open. Furthermore, you will be able to ask questions to the sponsors of the draft resolution with regards to the clauses that are there. Ma'am, would you be presenting the draft resolution to the committee?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please go ahead. OCs, please do stay active while passing the chits with regards to the modification, addition, or deletion of the chits. Delegates, please do bear with us for 2 minutes. We will be presenting the DR. In the meantime, you are allowed to go through the draft resolution that has been sent in the WhatsApp group. Feel free to read it, go through it, understand it, and get back to us. Alright, the draft resolution has been projected in front of you. The agenda for this particular committee is the human rights violations in countries, and this particular body falls under the United Nations General Assembly. As you can see, these are the preambulatory clauses. Kindly note that no amendments would be made to these. All of the clauses that are below with regards to the proposing of the solutions can be amended. So please do make a note of that. Signatories. People's Republic of China. Do we have China here with us? Yes, ma'am. Have you sponsored to be a part of the signatory for this particular draft resolution? Yes. Republic of Korea. Do we have the Republic of Korea here? Okay. Republic of Indonesia? Alright. With that being said, the sponsor for this particular draft resolution is the delegate of Sudan. Delegates, are there any amendments to the first clause? Are there any point of orders on the first clause? Yes, Iran.
The delegate of Iran would like to raise a point of order. In the first clause, bit C, there's a full stop added over there, which means the draft resolution after the full stop will be discarded.
Would be discarded. Alright. Would you like to propose that to be an amendment, or would you like to discard the rest part of the draft resolution?
I would like to propose that to be an amendment.
Yes, ma'am. Please do send the amendment via chat. What amendment would this be?
This would be an amendment of deletion.
Yes, ma'am. Are there any point of information with regards to the second clause and the third clause? Are there further point of orders on both these? With that being said, this DR is good to go. The amendments would be made after the ratification of the draft resolution. Delegates, please revert back to your seats so that we can proceed with the voting of the draft resolution. Delegates, kindly note that the floor is not open to chits anymore. Further clarifications can be sought from the executive board through the point of personal privilege or point of parliamentary inquiry. Delegates, we will be proceeding with a motion to vote upon the draft resolution. Delegates, in favor of delegates, is there any motion that you would like to raise?
Point of personal privilege. Can the air conditioning be reduced?
Point of personal privilege. Do we have an OC in the committee room? OC, can you please look into that? Air conditioning. Alright. Are there any motions on the floor with regards to the draft resolution? With that being said, we will be proceeding with the voting. Delegates wishing for this draft resolution to pass, please raise your placards. Delegates against this draft resolution to pass. This motion clearly passes. Delegates, please remain in your seats. You will be proceeding with the press conference for the next 5 minutes. Please do make sure to answer the questions properly. Do not abstain or beat around the bush. You are expected to be respectful towards the reporter and kindly do cooperate with the reporter here.
My first question would be to the delegate of Iran. Delegate, considering your focus on external interference, how do you respond to the numerous reports from UN human rights bodies and NGOs detailing around widespread internal human rights violations in your country, including crackdowns and protests and restrictions on human rights? Thank you for that question. The Islamic Republic of Iran categorically rejects politically motivated and unsubstantiated allegations. Our human rights framework is rooted in our Islamic and cultural values, reflecting the aspirations of our people is distinct from Western interpretations. We believe in constructive dialogue, not biased accusations. We are committed to upholding justice and will continue to address any issues within our sovereign legal framework, free from external coercion or interference. But given your emphasis on sovereign legal framework and cultural values, how does Iran ensure transparency and accountability in addressing human rights concerns? Iran ensures transparency and accountability through its national institutions, including the judiciary and parliamentary committees tasked with overseeing citizens' rights. Complaints can be filed through legal channels and reforms, which are considered within the framework of our Islamic principles. And moreover, we regularly engage with the UN mechanisms through official reports and delegations, demonstrating our willingness to engage constructively, provided the process is impartial and respectful of our sovereignty. Thank you.
Delegates, you've elapsed your press conference. Are there any motions to adjourn the committee? Yes, Delegate of Iran.
The delegate of Iran would like to raise a motion to adjourn the committee.
Alright, ma'am. Delegates in this motion, please raise your placards. Delegates against this motion. This motion clearly passes. Alright. Delegates, as you can see, we have projected the general speaker list, point of parliamentary inquiry, point of personal privilege, a moderating caucus, representing of your draft resolution, and different kinds of motions. So we hope we've come to a conclusion how a UN committee would be working.